One of the things when I'm engaging with SFUSD's website that I recognize quite immediately is the lack of transparency and access around data. My current role at Kitberry Schools, I work with blended learning programs primarily, but we use a myriad of systems to ensure that data access is easy from school sites, from teachers, and obviously our regional staff as well. When I look to Oakland Unified School District, for example, they use Tableau as a visualizing platform for their data for their students, and I'm actually quite surprised that SFUSD doesn't have a similar externally facing data visualizing platform to be able to show that publicly. I think it doesn't really necessarily answer questions per se, but I think data access is huge. And having our data out there so people can look at that and make their own calls around what they believe to be high priority shifts in our district, I think is very crucial. So I do want to spend some time in those first 6 months looking at what are our SIS systems, our student information systems, how are we mining this data, what data do we have, and in what ways is it accessible by the public? And if it's not, how can we ensure that we are making that as accessible as possible and visualizing it in a way that's not confusing, that's understandable. I think that's incredibly, incredibly important. And just in terms of specific programs, like I look at Tableau as like one example of one platform that could be used to do that. I know Schoolzilla is another organization that works to visualize student performance data. But I think right now it gets a little tricky with PDFs and bouncing around between documents and kind of shuffling through multiple pages on SFUSD's website. And I truly think that the beginning of all conversation needs to be with what data do we know about its current state of whatever question that we're asking, and the very first step of that is making that data accessible.